That means in your mind, you know what the destination is. I asked myself one question, and that is a series of spiritual internal revelations. The way you do this without scripts is that your turns on your maps are the stories you need to tell to make the points you need to make so that they feel like buying whatever you're selling by the end of your talk. So your conversion rates go up, your sales and your buy-in. Questions are the steering wheel of the mind. Questions are the answer. If you ever find yourself stuck, running around in circles, if you think of questions as the steering wheel of the mind, the tone of voice you ask your questions, the presuppositions behind your questions, what you're secretly trying to get out of the questions you ask yourself, maybe just the steering wheel of your mind is going like this, so you keep on running in circles and you keep on being stuck at the same place. In this video, I'll share with you the one question I asked myself that took me from a drugged out of my mind, miserable corporate employee questioning the meaning of life, like, is this even worth it? Good Lord. To overcoming stuttering, creating a new speaking system, coaching international keynote speakers, TV hosts, national trainers, and then creating six-figure days for people. In this video, I'm going to go over that question. I don't know if it ever happened to you, but I felt like, oh boy, you're going to like this one. Cynicism, pessimism, negativity, what's the use anyway? Apathy, just brushing things off. Nothing works. I've tried everything, nothing works. True transformation is not a thing. Oh boy, are you going to like this one. Stick around. I don't know if you ever felt like this. Like, I felt society had lied to me. I felt cheated by the system. Everything, I was brought up in a small village, and there's kind of presuppositions. If you do this, you're set for life. If you do this, you've got everything you need. This is the secret to happiness. This is what you need. Now, in your village, in your town, in your city, in your culture, whatever it was. Now, you hear also stars, like Hollywood stars or very rich people say, I wish everybody could achieve all their dreams and get everything they ever wanted so that they come to realize that's not where it's at. So that people can go one step deeper in themselves and find true happiness and meaning. But I was brought up as, you get a good job, get a good car, get a good woman, get a good place to live, and you get a good, nice little fence or whatever the thing is, and then that's it. You just set for life, and then you live your life, and at the end of this, you're going to have some sort of a pension and a thing, and then if you're lucky with the time that's left, you'll get to enjoy life and, maybe have fun if you can at the end of this thing. That's the thing. So it's just, that's the grinder. So I had bought into that thing. Through a series of happenstance, I ended up working in huge buildings downtown in one of the 5 big banks, corporate employee in the high-rise towers. And one night after supper, I'm there thinking to myself, I've achieved everything society told me I had to be happy. I got the car, got the job, the president. I was in the car with the president of the company just a few weeks before. He told me, like when the president kind of takes you under his wing, he's like, so, what do you want to do? We got you. Like the road was traced. It was good to go. And I remember thinking to myself, it was kind of a question and kind of a presupposition at once. It was kind of the realization of an undertone of, man, I've been lied to. This can't be it. Kind of looking through all the stuff that I was told, and I achieved everything, and I looked at the rest. I was like, I kind of saw a timeline. I was like, you sure about this? This was kind of the prequel to the question. Then I just asked. I just kind of thought, there has to be more to life than this. I didn't say right in my mind, but at that time, I was not a religious person. I did not believe in God or anything like that. So I must imagine I must have looked up, but not to something. Like right now, I'm dedicated to God and the Lord and the whole thing. But at that time, I just, looking up in the air, whatever. There has to be more to life than this, right? But the right was the silent part. And then, now, when I say a lightning rod, I'm about to say to these guys, I'm not talking about a physical lightning rod, a metaphysical, a way of speaking lightning rod hit me on the head that moment. I just thought to myself, has to be more to life than this. Come on, man, this can't be it. In French we say métro, boulot, dodo. Whatever the thing is in English, like get up, just get to work even if you hate it, and sleep and repeat, whatever the thing is in English. This can't be it. This lightning rod hit me over the head. Right here, I can feel it right here. And over the next 15 years, it proceeded to go down my brain all the way here to exit it here, and it's still exiting right now. Total brain change. Ugh, what was that? Like an illumination inside the brain, just a light went off, but from the top of the head. At that moment, I was doing drugs every day. I was drinking as much as I can as a weekend sport. That was just the thing you do on the weekend. Smoking a pack of cigarettes or more a day. Junk food as much as possible, and other hosts of bunch of bad habits. Over the next few weeks, few days, very, very soon, quit drugs, quit alcohol, quit smoking, quit junk food. Now, I'm healed now, but at that moment I became a vegetarian, then a vegan, then a crazy, raw foodist. At one point, at the end of this skit, the only thing I could eat was soaked almonds and spinach soup. Now, I'm healed now with the diet thing, but this went crazy berserk. And I was basically paid in the corporate world to white lie all day long. I couldn't lie anymore. So I went and saw the doctor. So the doctor, man, I just can't do this white lying thing all day. I gotta quit. And doctor, at that moment, in Canada, we have a thing called unemployment insurance. So the doctor told me unfit to work, whatever the thing he put on the paper. And this gave me 42 weeks of buffer to start a business. And I started a business in the spiritual transformational world. Knew nothing about the world at all. That thing, in my mind, more naive than Bambi. I thought everybody in this field were in for the right reasons. They all wanted to help. Turns out this field is also full of crooks, bandits, liars, and thieves. 12 to 18-hour days of working on the internal world and the spiritual stuff, which then transitioned to working on the business stuff and creating that thing. We had a thing where we created the marketing messages for all the authors, coaches, speakers, therapists, all the chakra people. If you're watching this in the comments, hey, where are my chakra people at? Chakra people, crystal people, all the water filter people, all the let's heal the planet people, all the astrologers, all the come on man, you can do this, all the mindset guys, all the consultants, they would all come to us, and I was a marketing guy, and then we had a tech guy, and I was writing the messages for these people. Now, as Dan Kennedy said, I don't know if you know Dan Kennedy, he said, first thing, he used to have a company producing videotapes. And he said, when somebody would come to us with this brand new idea, first thing I would do is I would say, thank you for your brand new idea. Then he would say, wait a minute, it would go in the back, and he would take 5 cassette tape programs and bring them here, and this is exactly the same as these 5. So I didn't know this at the time, but quickly I realized, oh snap, these guys are all saying the same thing. It's like one after the other, copy paste. So I can't be sending the same message to our list every week. You're going to be burning out. So I quickly came up with a system out of necessity. Messenger to message to market match. It's the 3 M's. So pull out of you what's unique about your system, about your experience, about your knowledge, your know-how, what you got doing, and how to map this to the marketplace based on what they already want. And this is where the message and message all came together, which now evolved into what we call in the academy, Steve Jobsify your message. So if you look at it in, an Apple ad doesn't never talk about bits and megahertz and whatever the things are, or screws. They go like, if Gandhi would have had a computer, it would have been a Mac. So here's the crazy one. So the mapping of the message so it fits with what they already want. So we're doing that type of stuff. And all this time, like the biggest client we had was Deepak Chopra. When Deepak Chopra came to town, we got the call to do his radio tour and promo and stuff and get him on stage. So I was the one doing his presentation before getting on stage. I was at the time still a part-time stutterer. You know what a part-time stutterer is? If you've never stuttered, let me just tell you a little bit about stuttering. When people say they have stage fright, which is 70% of the world's population, that they think stage fright, this means, oh, if I have to go in front of an audience, I get nervous and my thoughts are a jumbled mess and I just make a fool of myself and all that. Well, stuttering is like this, but one-on-one. You cannot even speak to one person. So I was a chronic stutterer for years and years and years, and then a part-time stutterer, and then just sometimes at that time, I had to get on stage in front of 2,000 people, and I was still a part-time stutterer, so I was self-conscious about stuttering. So you can't afford to be self-conscious if you get on stage. That's the recipe for a panic attack, and I had one live. Okay? So anyway, if you want to know how to have panic attacks, we can make a whole video about how to have panic attacks, because the opposite of panic attacks is called stage presence, which is thus a panic attack in reverse. In short, your attention that way versus your attention that way. So with Deepak, which speaks to branding, I didn't have to write any of his messages. His branding was already on point, so he's just taking whatever he had, translate it in French or whatever, and then send it over. So, as we're doing this, we had this day, I have the panic attack, I present Deepak on stage, and we're doing that type of stuff. The whole spiritual thing with the lightning rod kept on going. So remember, I went from a drugged out of my mind employee to waking up at 6 a.m. in the morning, sitting cross-legged, doing Kundalini exercises, reading one nostril at a time in the morning, and having the Kundalini thing cooking. If you don't know what that is, don't Google it if you don't want your life to change rapidly, if you're not ready for any change. I'm not kidding. This started happening. I was about to leave the world and become a monk. Literally. Then as we met all these mentors and coaches and spiritual people and coaches and therapists and all these people, we were writing all these messages. I got to know the back end of the industry, how everything works, the good, the bad, the ugly, decide what these people really think about the audience and vice versa, and like their true intentions. I'm like, oh, this guy. Then there was one guy like, whoa, different than everybody else. So I started studying under him, just stopped everybody else, started buying all his courses, all these trainings. I told him after a while, man, whenever you put a new course out, first thing you do, you put my name on top of the list. I don't care how much it costs, where it is, a weekend for a few $100, a long-term training for a few thousand, whatever price is, whatever, just put my name, they all be there. I did all his trainings more than once, then became his cameraman, then one of his assistants, then his main assistant. And I was about to leave the world, and this guy told me, what's wrong with you, idiot? You're not a monk. You're a rock star. I'd forgotten about that. So I left that business and toured internationally for like around 2 years. Came back, did an album, then toured the province 7 times. And then started coaching musicians how to not suck on stage. Remember, ex-chronic stutterer, now international touring musician, also like won awards and stuff. So now it was like they were teaching rock star presence principles to people that are shy. Get it? Made total sense. I was just teaching them how to do this. My mentor comes to me after this time, like a few years later, says, what's wrong with you, idiot? Don't teach stage presence principles to musicians. Teach that to business owners, idiot. That was the second time he called me an idiot. And the third time he called me an idiot was the good one. So yeah, of course. So then, because as a musician, if I teach you how to not suck on stage, I mean, the payoff you get is like, you feel good about yourself. You maybe play at a small party, you play in a small venue. Because I wasn't teaching like Jimmy Page or John Mayer, or like, because they already have rock star presence. I was teaching people that did not have it, so by default they were not already on stage. It was like the payoff for them was small, which you always get paid on a result. Like I'm paid on a percentage of what you think the result is worth to you. So when I flip to teaching that to business owners, well, the payoff is 6-figure days, or changing your whole life, or changing your destiny, or changing your business, or growing your leads and your branding. The payoff is so big, same skills. So what I did is I combined the charismatic messaging system I had built back in the day before working with Deepak Chopra to make you unique, to take what you have unique and map it to the marketplace, combined with the stage presence principles that I didn't learn this on Udemy or on LinkedIn listicles, like hard battle tested stage presence principles and stage confidence secrets coming from an ex-corny stutterer, caved in and shy that can't even look one person in the face type of stuff. So I was teaching that. So this was how the system was born. This is how we get people to speaking like naturals, no script, no stress, no memorization, just yada. Can you imagine that? What do you mean no script? It means in your mind, you know what the destination is. And you've mapped out retroactively, well, if that's the destination, what road do we have to take before? Okay, what road do we have to take before? Okay, what road do we have to take before? And then you have your map of what your talk needs to lead people, and it's chunked in your mind as to when the transformation or the clicking or the point has been made deep enough in the audience. And the way you do this without scripts is that your turns on your maps are the stories you need to tell to make the points you need to make so that they feel like buying whatever you're selling by the end of your talk. So your conversion rates go up, your sales and your buy-in. So in case you were wondering, that's how we do it. So where were we again? Okay, so we got the messaging algorithm with the confidence piece together. Got the system cooking. Now I'm working one-on-one with some people, and then we have the group program. And this is like, 20 years after the whole thing. So I had the lightning rod thing. So right now I'm very healthy. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I meditate all the time, praying all the time and all that type of stuff. Relatively stable, no amount of crazy stress. But just overworking on that thing because of the fulfillment. That was the way I set up my stuff. I was burning out, working too much. Twice sitting at that desk, I had a pinch in my heart. Totally healthy in my 40s. Too much. So I was speaking with the same mentor at his house. It's like, man, going over the results. I actually had this with me, I believe. Yeah, I had this one. I was showing him that here's what we do. Like this is the system. They go through this, then they got the video, and here's the results. 6-figure days. This person, such and so, got a standing ovation or first time on stage. Or funded their whole business. That this guy made this much, and yada yada. It's like, what's wrong with you, idiot? Double the price of your coaching program immediately. Remove, because I was doing hybrid coaching at that time. So you would get some one-on-one and some group for the program. This was a mess of fulfillment for us, like Napkin said. Remove the one-on-one part. Take that only for rev share partnerships, which is why today we partner with you on a rev share basis to create 6-figure days. And he said, then create. He gave me the linchpin from Russell Brunson. That was not too long ago, like a year and a half, 2 years ago. He said, create a low ticket, low barrier to entry. I called it the Transformational Speaking Academy, which is the system without personal coaching. So you can have bigger groups, because his whole thing is about help as many people as possible. So because my mentor called me an idiot 3 times after I asked myself one question, and that is series of spiritual internal revelations. Oh, my alarm here is swirling. See? Now I even have alarms for me to take breaks. So why does this work all the time? So that's my alarm to take a break now. So one simple question led me from a drugged out of my mind corporate employee to creating the dream lifestyle. A lifestyle business that allows me, so the speaking part for me is help you express yourself. And I built this where the fulfillment works, where I can still get the music part for myself so I can express myself too. So I do what I want and I do what you want, and fulfillment works. It's just a matter of spacing it in time throughout the year properly. So if you ever find yourself stuck, and I get it, if you've not seen my video, like I can't ask questions and it doesn't do anything. If you're stuck inside your mind, I did a video recently called something about 7 levels of getting over yourself, or like getting over yourself. Watch this. Because what happened throughout, I didn't tell it here, what happened throughout this whole transition is I went from, on this video it says like, if you think you are a body and you have a brain versus you are consciousness itself, and there's different layers of what we call self. So when it comes to getting over yourself and asking yourself question, who is doing the asking and what who or what is doing the asking internally kind of have a different leverage on the impact of the questions you're asking yourself. So I'm not here to tell you what question to ask yourself, but maybe if you just take an inventory after supper and you take a good hard look at the timeline of where things are going, okay, that's my goal now. Where did I get this? Oh, that's from childhood because they told me this and told me that and told me this. Where's that leading? You can start to question this. You have the power to step outside the conditioning and observe it and ask yourself, is that really all there is? Is this all there is? There's got to be more to life than this. And these types of questions should get you started. But I'm not here to tell you what question to ask yourself, but I'm here to ask you, what question could you ask yourself tonight that could potentially set you on a trajectory that would take you to places that you can't even imagine right now? So just think about that. If you don't know what question to ask yourself, what's the most powerful question or the best question I could be asking right now? So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you liked it, give it a like, subscribe, and share the video to anyone who would benefit from this. If you didn't like it, and you don't want nobody else to ever hear that again, just don't share it and click the dislike button twice to make sure YouTube buries it on page 2 of Google. Thanks for watching. Godspeed.